Oh, she's got a Y incision in her chest. Come on.
Stop fondling her nipples like you would fondle Elle Fanning's nipples.
Stop. Oh, God. The giant surgical scar in the corpse where they peeled open to show the organs. You'd figure that would... Oh, God, please don't. Please don't do... Oh, God. Oh.
They're kissing.
That's not...
Spit.
It's like a grenade of sugary goodness, which is what people call me. Oh no, has this been running the whole time? Oh God! Clappy, clappy, clap, 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 clap. Clap, 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 clap.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Alright, here you go.
Hey, remember that time when Hit Girl had a relationship with Cyclops, and then Cyclops grew up to be... And then Cyclops grew up to be
Yellow Jacket?
Yellow Jacket, and then Yellow Jacket's sister was Furiosa?
A weird movie.
Well, we're not talking about that today, because apparently he decided it's too good.
We were gonna watch Dark Places for episode 3. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Like, we stopped halfway through because I kept going, this movie's too, like, competent. Like, this movie knows what it's doing too well. Like, there's nothing really to talk about because the plot was interesting.
The characters were well developed.
The acting was good.
And the framing and the shot choice was excellent.
Yeah, like, I was bored because it was good. Like, there was nothing from my brain to go, what the hell is that? Or, that sucks. You know, there was nothing. So instead, we watched a weird little indie movie?
Indie movie.
A weird little indie movie called The Neon Demon.
Directed by Nicolas Winding Refn.
I see 20 or 30 girls come in here every day. Mostly from small towns with big dreams. And they're all good. You're going to be great.
Beauty isn't everything. It's the only thing.
She has that thing.
Look at Jessie.
Who wants sour milk when you can get fresh meat?
Very important.
That guy's name shows up in the credits like 8 times.
No. Here's what it is. In the title screen, he monogrammed it twice, NWR, twice.
Yeah,
and then I counted it 5 times appeared in the ending credits.
It was weird because he put his initials right below the logo of the movie, so it looked like it was part of the logo of the movie. So it said The Neon Demon, NWR, and I was like, that's a weird... That's weird to put that there.
Now, allow me to explain a little bit of context with this. Now, this was a movie that came out in the summer, and it screened at a bunch of film festivals, and I looked at the trailer, and then I looked at the Wikipedia page.
You also sent me the trailer as soon as you saw it, and I was like, what?
No, this is over the summer. I looked at it over the summer, and then I sent it to you again.
Okay.
Because I read a very interesting article about it, and the thing is, I chose this movie because for the longest time, I wanted to create a review series where I review about crappy indie movies, pretentious indie movies, because I don't think anybody does that, talks about how hilariously pretentious a lot of indie movies are.
Now, be careful, because using the word pretentious over and over in itself is also pretentious.
I don't care. But the point is...
Now, Internet reviewer bingo cards, get them out, because we're going to use the word overrated, we're going to use pretentious, and we're going to use, what's another one?
Nonsensical?
No.
Auteur.
Yeah, and then also,
No, that's about it. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I saw that online, and then I read the Wikipedia page, and I thought, what? What is this movie? And then I thought it'd be great to review this because it's like an 80s exploitation movie or a 70s exploitation movie
with like a really weird B-movie plot.
Weird B-movie plot, but it's a movie that screens at Cannes. It's screened at Cannes, so it's not. So it's sort of like that Oscar indie caliber movie with the plot and the story from a snuff film from the 70s, and I thought that was really interesting. And also, this article that I read was all about this director really wanting this auteur status. Because
it's just the plot of the movie and the way it flows and the way it's like if we describe the plot to you, which we will, don't worry.
We will.
It's gonna sound like some cheesy horror movie from the 70s or the 80s, but it's directed by a guy who's like trying really hard to be taken seriously as like this serious artist.
And then
it's like if Ang Lee directed a superhero movie.
And we all know how well that turned out, right? But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because I thought that'd be fun. And then when you said there wasn't enough to talk about, well, in the case of this movie, there's
a lot to talk about.
There's too much.
Like,
but so allow me to.
Let's just start with a general outline of the plot.
I want to talk a little bit about Nicolas Winding Refn first. Just
Okay.
one sec, because you know that movie that everybody said shouldn't have won all the Oscars but did, called Drive?
Yeah.
He directed it.
That makes sense, because I saw the trailer for Drive, and a lot of the color tone, like, there was a lot of purple in that
And then
movie.
he also directed Only God Forgives, which I don't know anything about.
Did that also have Ryan Gosling in it?
It did. And this is the guy who also, during the press junket for this movie, said, I want to direct... How do I open the green thing?
You smash it, but you can't do that until later.
But anyway, I'm playing Dead Space, so just so you know.
I fucking love Dead Space. It's my favorite video game of all time.
But yeah.
Better than any superhero video game, I love Dead Space. More than Spider-Man games, I love Dead Space.
But anyway...
Fun fact about me, no one knows
this
that.
is the guy who said during the press junket for this movie, I want to direct a Batgirl movie. And yeah, that's gonna happen. That's totally gonna happen, right?
Yeah, no. Well, here's the thing. Is Jenna Malone is in this movie, and for a while she was rumored to be playing Batgirl. I think maybe the idea he had was like, maybe he didn't get like the memo that she wasn't Batgirl, and instead she was just some randy in BDS, and he was like, man, this is my opening, how I got
Who did she actually play?
She played some random scientist at Star Labs. That was it. She was in like one scene, and it got cut from the theatrical cut because it was that pointless of a scene. Yeah, BDS had a lot of problems with like the editing. I think that there's a lot of scenes in the extended cut of BDS that actually did help the film, and instead just kind of hurt the pacing even more. Like, there's a lot of scenes of Lois Lane just kind of running around doing detective stuff. But really, it should have been switched out with Clark Kent because they're both reporters. They would give him more something to do in the plot as Clark Kent if he had something else, like if he was trying to discover Lex Luthor's evil plan, or if he was the one.
But yeah, Batman versus Superman has a lot of problems.
I like Batman versus Superman.
In
spite of its flaws, I think that's our review of Batman versus Superman.
I enjoyed certain elements of it, but overall, I thought it was pretty disappointing. It's a guilty pleasure for me.
If it's on TV, I'll turn it on and watch it. If someone asked me what my favorite superhero movie is, I'll go, well, not BVS, but like...
But yeah, let's talk more about Nicolas Winding Refn, because it's pretty... Or, I'm sorry, let's talk more about... let's do the plot now.
Okay.
So, the movie starts out with just a small-time girl living in a lonely world. Basically that, from that Journey song, shows up in...
you can't fight that. You gotta just run. Run in that door.
How do I run?
You hit you hold this down while you're walking.
But anyway, but you talk now, because I'm running away.
He's playing Dead Space, so I have to talk because it's stressful.
Just talk about the movie. So yeah, Elle Fanning.
Okay, Elle Fanning plays a young aspiring model who's trying to break into the industry, and her boyfriend, or some guy she just recently met, is also trying to get into photography, and they both kind of help each other out. But her thing takes off way faster because someone sees her photos and is like, these are amazing. You gotta like meet this like awesome photographer, and
she poses in blood like she's lying on a couch and her throat was slit.
Yeah.
And that's important for later because...
Is it though?
Well, it sets the tone.
It sets the tone as it's creepy and it looks gorgeous, but at the same time it's like really gory.
Yeah.
It's a whole movie that like if I had to describe the tone of it, just imagine like someone walking down the runway at like a fashion show, but their head has been blown off with a shotgun. That's the imagery we're going for.
And then, of course, they see her photos, and it was she's so wonderful, guys, that suddenly she becomes a model, and then of course there are these other models that she's really that is really jealous of her,
and like I think one of the things this movie kind of conveys is a lot of situations where you're like, I keep having to press the button. So as soon as she kind of like gets into this world of modeling, she meets a whole bunch of really creepy people, and it seems like characters that aren't into the modeling industry are all played as kind of like normal. But then people who are models or photographers or whatever
are creepy.
They're all just creepy, weird robots who stare endlessly and don't understand social cues and are just constantly pressuring her into doing creepy shit. And of course, the character Elle Fanning, I think Jessie, is only 16, but she's posing as a 19-year-old to get into this modeling industry.
And then she says her parents are dead, but we don't know if they're actually dead.
We just know that she's hanging out in a motel by herself.
And her motel manager is Keanu Reeves. And then they find a cougar or some sort of big cat in her hotel room for no reason. And then...
Yeah, did they ever explain what the fuck was going on with that?
I think it's more of like a...
Yeah, she comes home one day after a modeling gig, and then she goes into... No, she comes out home after a date with her boyfriend that was really normal and, like, human. And she gets to the door of her motel, and she opens it, and she just sees, like, a creepy shadow in there and, like, a weird noise. And she gets her building manager, which is Keanu Reeves, and she's like, there's something in there. And then they find just, like, a live, like, cougar or, like... some kind of big wildcat animal, and it's never explained how that got there, and I guess the implication is that one of the other characters just put it there for no reason.
I thought it was like a metaphorical thing that's there for no reason. But anyway, after that...
What's the metaphor, though?
But after that, everybody becomes really creepily... I don't care. I don't think about these things. But after they find the big cat, things just sort of spiraling out of control, like... She goes to a model show, and one of the other models, I think it was Gigi. It was Gigi or Sarah. And then one of those other models, she cuts her hand, cuts her wrist, and then the blood, she starts sucking on her blood. And then it just escalates into this weird nonsense where Jenna Malone has sex with a female corpse while imagining that it's
Elle Fanning.
And
then she tries to like get on Elle Fanning, and then she doesn't reciprocate it, and then shoves her off.
And then after that, she has sex with the corpse. With the corpse.
Right after, I guess she's a mortician.
She's a mortician and a makeup artist.
This conversation is so all over the place and crazy, and I don't think anybody is getting any kind of impression about what this movie is about.
Well,
that's because we're don't save over my save file. That's because that's just how this movie works. It's really confusing.
It works primarily on visuals and emotion. And the plot is a afterthought.
The plot is just kind of like some girl is trying to get into the modeling business, and that's it for 2 hours, and then suddenly she just gets murdered and eaten by a bunch of fellow models.
And then those models...
And I guess one of them is like a crazy cultist who has like all kinds of like crazy tattoos.
That's Jenna Malone. Jenna Malone is the weird cultist. And then the two models, one of them throws up an eyeball and the other eats it.
And that's the end. That's the ending of the movie.
It's. I guess it's supposed to be about how jealousy or modeling or eats you up or something like that. It could be. It could be either.
It's a metaphor for something, and
I'm not sure what.
I think it's the pressures of fame. Maybe?
It could be the pressures of fame, or it could be. Like being obsessed with looks so much.
Pressure, or being obsessed with looks, or just general lust.
All of the above, probably.
So it's not a completely like shallow movie where just some stuff happens. There's themes.
So basically,
they're just kind of like confusing.
What drew me to this movie is that it looked like such a really bizarre, pretentious movie that has such a snuff plot to it. So that's what drew me to it, and I think that's what confused him so much.
Because when you get into it, well, let's talk about the way it's directed, the way it's shot. It's a gorgeous movie to look at. Like, there's so many things about it that are just like, wow, that's stunning. A cool shot, or hey, that's some cool framing there. Like,
the cinematography and the use of color was superb.
Because like. for a movie called Neon Demon, of course, like, could you imagine if the whole thing was in sepia tone? And how disappointing that would be?
If Zack Snyder directed it.
Oh, come on. He does good visuals.
Well, he does sepia visuals. And that's what I liked about this, is that how do you reload?
It's X while you're aiming. Or maybe it's A, actually, in this game. They switch the controls for Dead Space, too.
But anyway, enough about me being shit at video games. I'm terrible at video games. But whatever, whatever.
So, like, what we noted it almost immediately is the way the coloring works during different times of the movie. Like, at night, everything is, like, bright neon colors. Everything has a pink glow or a purple glow or red. But then in daytime, the scenes are usually just kind of, like, drab and washed out in gray. Except for the main character. She's always super colorful. Like, her outfits always pop.
And she has a brilliant blonde hair.
Yeah, it's just always, like, the main character is the only colorful thing during the daytime, but at nighttime, she just kind of flows into being as colorful as everything else. Like, maybe it's some kind of metaphor for the nightlife making
embracing
you more interesting.
her narcissism or something? I don't know. Something like that.
Okay, yeah, so you aim this and then hit X, and then it,
How do I aim it?
You just aim your gun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you hit X, and it slows down machinery. And I think it actually also works on enemies.
But anyway,
it's limited though.
Yeah.
So, like, the visuals are fantastic. It's a very pretty movie.
But the thing that I felt about the visuals is that this world felt very empty the way they shot it. There was a
lot of, like, really big empty space, like,
especially during the day. It was just felt like there was nothing there.
Well, there was also a lot of negative space in the shots. Like, there was this one shot for a conversation scene where two characters are just sitting around in a makeup room, and you can see them in the reflection of the mirrors. But the wall is completely black, everything under the desk is black, and they're just sitting there like in these crooked two squares of light, while everything else is completely dark. So, it's like, even the visuals themselves, while looking pretty, also look empty. Like, this movie makes you just feel... Like, I guess the visuals and the way it's directed and the subject matter, the whole movie is just there to make you feel uncomfortable.
And empty.
It's like, there's a specific scene of...
It's like the visuals, if you'll allow me to go on a bit of a tangent, look pretty but empty at the same time.
Like models.
Maybe like her soul.
It's a clever metaphor, oh my gosh.
So that's what I think it's fascinating, because this movie was like...
Hey, hit open on that, just like hit A. Yeah.
It's just fascinating, because this movie was visually very... I like how it used visual storytelling and all that stuff very effectively, because a lot of movies, especially like superhero movies and mainstream movies, they just shoot things very indifferently.
Yeah, well,
especially
they don't put any kind of effort into, like, what's the frame gonna look like here. It's usually just like there's two types of directing. There's, like, meticulously planning out every single shot and going, well, this represents this, or this image gives you a kind of feeling of this.
Or even just taking the time to frame a shot so it looks pretty.
Yeah, and then there's the other type of directing, which is just, all right, we're gonna point the camera at what happens in the scene.
Just hit
record and then just aim it in the general direction of stuff happening. And that seems to be a lot of movies. So
like all Marvel movies are shot that way.
Yeah, I love Marvel movies, but they are, like, not great to look at, really. They're just kind of standard.
The color grading is bad, and even when they have good color grading, it's just very standard in terms of just looking at stuff. So there's nothing good, really all that fun to look at in those movies. But this movie, it was visually stunning. It was something to look at.
Yeah,
eye candy.
But did it have anything beneath that? Was it just eye candy, like just pretty shots?
Not just, but
because the plot was just kind of paper thin.
It was
like
pretentious. Look at me, artsy plot.
Yeah, like 90% of the movie. Also, I think there's a problem direction-wise. And I don't know, maybe it's a problem, I can't tell. A lot of the scenes are just people staring at things. Particularly Elle Fanning. They're just staring at her. They're just...
all the time.
Just, like... There's no dialogue. It's just quiet. It's awkward. This is a puzzle, by the way.
What do I do?
It just keeps unclamping. If only you had something that would slow it down.
I don't.
Do you have a...
Oh, right, yeah.
And then run and go hit the button up top before it unclamps.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. Puzzles. So... You know, Elle Fanning in this movie is supposed to be the main character,
I thought she was
but
pretty good.
I didn't really get any kind of attachment for her. I just felt bad for her, because she didn't really get to express any, like, she didn't talk much about why she wants to be a model, or what she enjoys about it. She just seems like that's the thing she's doing. Like she's a model because the movie is about a model. Like, she didn't express how she feels about people looking at her constantly, or what people think about the way she looks. Like, it's a lot of people just staring at her and going, "You're gorgeous, you're perfect."
I suppose the idea is that they want to, is that she wants them to look at her that way, but
she never really expresses that.
It's the problem that the way this guy directs his actors is that they're all very, very, very underplayed.
Go this way. There's ammo in the bathroom.
But
take a left.
But that's the problem, is that it's a little bit too underplayed. So
again, it's like very dry. Like, there's not anything really to engage you emotionally. It's just you just kind of watching weird people act weird
and pretty pictures
of them.
It's
because
like
a lot of it is just like people staring at Elle Fanning. And
you know how there's that YouTube
going,
channel, Every Frame a Painting?
Yeah.
That's what this movie is.
Every frame is a painting.
Yeah. I mean, not all movies deserve that title, but this one certainly does.
So, in terms of plot and characters, there's not a whole lot going on. Everyone's kind of... Because I guess it's also part of the idea. Like, it's looking at the modeling industry, so all the people, of course, are
It's all about looking, not about doing.
Yeah, and then, of course, all the people there are very shallow and only obsessed with looks. And all they do is look at things. And
all they do is talk about how other people look.
It's a very shallow movie, and not in a sense that there's nothing going on.
I think it's intentionally that way.
It's shallow as in all of the characters are shallow. Like, it's like talking to, like, that really dumb girl at school who doesn't talk to people because of their clothes, right? Like that person's wearing sweatpants, no way. And then just, like, completely... Like, we know a person like that.
Mm-hmm. I do?
Well, I do. Yeah, I talk to more people at school. I don't like any of them, but I talk to more.
They only talk to me if they want to know what the homework is.
Hey, what was the homework in economy class? Anyway, you know, I've seen Elle Fanning in a couple of movies, and she always seems
out of place.
She always seems to be playing a character who's very, like,
she's always
stoic and static throughout the whole thing.
I just remember her from Maleficent, where she was the young ingenue as well.
Well, in Super 8, she's just the girlfriend character, and I can't remember anything about that movie. I know she was in one movie where she was genuinely acting and being as a character.
I think she's in Live by Night, but nobody cares about that because they don't like Ben Affleck after Batman vs. Superman.
They kind of like him, sort of.
Well, the Academy doesn't.
That's true. We're filming! Close the door! Thank you! Oh, God.
Yeah, we have family members, or rather, people do. No.
You know, just look up a scene with Bobcat Goldthwait from Police Academy. You'll figure it out.
I haven't seen Police Academy.
I mean, like, future David editing this, look up a scene from Police Academy. So you know what Bobcat Goldthwait, what his whole shtick is.
But anyway...
So, in God Bless America, it's like she plays, like, this, really, like, in-your-face, obnoxious, shallow, like, teen girl who's constantly screaming about, shoot that red thing.
In the leg?
No, the thing there. Yeah, that's exploding. She's like this really obnoxious, crazy teen girl who's like really like she's constantly yelling at her rich parents to give her more stuff, and nothing's ever good enough. And then the movie opens with the main character who's some like 40-something-year-old depressed guy just shooting her because he saw her on a TV, like he saw her on some reality TV show, and is like, that is the most repugnant person I've ever seen in my life. And then he tracks her down and just shoots her. And then he teams up with her like one of the kids from her school that doesn't like her. You missed some ammo on the floor.
I don't care.
Yeah, so God Bless America is a really weird, depressing movie.
And then this is a weird, depressing movie too.
No, David, we're not talking about this anymore. We're talking about God Bless America, the movie directed by Bobcat.
I didn't see it!
SpongeBob is in it.
What?
Well, the actor who plays SpongeBob, because I guess he's friends with Bobcat. Well, you're gonna have fun editing this. This is a fucking train wreck.
I mean, it wasn't any worse than last time.
I feel like it was worse.
So I was the one who edited the last one, okay? So I should know. You just saw the finished product and said, no, we need to add more of the footage from the other camera that we're not using this time because it crapped out halfway through and god dang it, we have to use it.
We have to use that other camera angle because the footage can't be completely worthless.
Except that it was super out of place and also the voice syncing was off.
It looked fine. It looked fine. Wait. I don't think we've talked about the movie we're reviewing for a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting because I always liked Jenna Malone. I've been a fan of her since I saw her in Hunger Games.
Another movie where she plays a creepy person who
Gets
walks
naked.
around naked and asks people weird questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you should see Hunger Games. If you see any of the Hunger Games, just see the second one. But anyway,
that was the only one I liked of the ones that I watched.
I think that it's a very interesting movie, this one, because I'm always a fan of Jenna Malone, and she always plays weirdos.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool, and I like her.
Like, that's her shtick. Like, you know, in this movie, I kept thinking, even in the first scene she's in, where she's supposed to be kind of normal.
She was really rapey in this movie.
Yeah, like, I was thinking, if her character was a guy, this would have completely different connotations. Like, every word she says... Hit X, by the way. Don't aim, just hit it. Just hit X. Okay, there you go. It's the quick heal button, so you notice your health bar is on your back. If you hit it again. There you go. You're using the health from your inventory to heal.
Anyway, keep talking about the movie.
Jenna, like, if I was thinking throughout this, if Jenna Malone's character was a guy, every single thing she would say would sound so creepy and uncomfortable and rapey, and no one would ever go along with talking to this person. But because she was a woman, she just kind of got away with it.
But it was
even though she was still, like, exactly the stereotype she was, like, talking as.
She was also really creepy in this movie, but she would have been creepier if she was a guy.
Yeah. Like...
Also, she dressed... I noticed this, and maybe you didn't, but she dressed in a very masculine way compared to the other characters.
Like, she had, like, a lot of really dark, earthy tones in her colors.
Dark, earthy tones, and she had, like, some big suit shoulder pads on one time, and I thought, maybe that's intentional, or maybe that's just Nicolas Winding Refn thinking about lesbian stereotypes, because, spoilers, as I told you earlier, she tries to force herself on Elle
underage Elle Fanning. You know, it kind of took me out of it, because Elle Fanning's character is supposed to be 16, but when I look at her, I go, that lady's older than I am. She's in, like...
It's like in Riverdale,
she's like 20.
How I think, yeah, KJ Apa is totally a sophomore in high school.
Were you talking about Riverdale?
I'm talking about Riverdale. It's
fuck Riverdale.
It was like that, how all the characters are way too old. Look way too old. I think...
Riverdale is everything wrong with the CW. There, I said it.
Yes.
If you want, okay, that's our review of Riverdale, everybody. Riverdale sucks.
But it's the same thing. How these characters are just. What do I make here?
This is the upgrade station. So if you want to upgrade your health bar or your gun or your slowy weapon,
health bar.
Go, just click on it, and then you only have one node.
Mm-hmm.
You put in new ones in each slot. That one is not anything right now. There's another node in this room actually that you can go pick up.
Okay, but anyway. Keep talking about it.
I like the soundtrack. It was weird, like 80s synth music, but also like really pumpy dance music club stuff.
Play the trailer to show an example of it.
Because yeah, so like the soundtrack was like the kind of music you would hear in like if you were at a runway show.
And this music is the music they play in the trailer is actually something that they use in the movie.
In a really weird scene where I guess someone's doing like a performance art piece where they're like just floating in a black room.
Can I do anything more
with you've already placed that node. If you go to your gun, you can upgrade your damage on it.
I'll do that later.
No, just do it right now. Pick up that health, by the way.
I tried, but it wouldn't let me. My inventory is full.
Oh, okay.
But just keep talking.
If you hit it, it works. That's how most machines work. Loading movie reviewer program 9000.
Reboot.
Error.
Elle Fanning too boring in this movie. Does not emote. Does not emote.
Characters and emotions and motivations not found.
This was really, it was just, I would almost say mesmerizing, because it's just so bizarre in the way the characters act, in the way they emote, in the way the story progresses, because the character is killed off before...
And, like, she's killed off, like, 15 minutes before the movie ends. And then the rest of it is just like a normal photo shoot, like just another day at the office.
And then suddenly one of them throws up an eyeball.
And
then the other one eats
why
it.
didn't she chew that eyeball? You feel like because when you're eating someone, I feel like when you take...
Shh. It's the shock effect. If you see an eyeball, it's a bit more visceral of a disgust than if you just see a bunch of gross...
Goop. Well, no, like in Hannibal, there's a scene where the main character throws up like a human ear, but it's been partially chewed up.
But it makes
chunky.
more sense because you see that Hannibal shoved it down his throat, so he didn't have time to chew it. But here it's just...
In this case, it's just that models are sloppy eating. Hey, why would a model be a cannibal? You think like
so
they would want to watch their figure?
Yeah, they're cannibals, but that brings me. So here's how I sold the movie to Xavier. How I got him to see it. One sentence: lesbian, necrophiliac, cannibal. Models.
And I immediately went, is this directed by, like, Lloyd Kaufman?
Well, next best thing, Nicolas Winding Refn.
No, because, like, Lloyd Kaufman's, like, he just does schlocky, goofy, like, he did Toxic Avenger.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what I said, like, it's like if Toxic Avenger was directed by Lars von Trier or Terrence Malick. It's like that weird auteur status.
I like how you got to the bottom of the elevator and then just hit the button to go back up again. Because the door on the other side opened. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
I told you I'm shit at video games.
Is that Godzilla in the frame?
I don't know.
I sure hope it is.
So in case you don't see it, we have a little mini Godzilla here.
I sure hope you can pull something out of this with editing, because this is by far the... This is the best one yet.
So, overall, yeah,
okay, if you want a movie that'll make you act like this.
So, next, let's cue the footage. Hey, wait, stop. Stop! No, so now for our next segment, I think I'm gonna play we recorded some video during the thing, and we recorded some video of his reaction, and we're gonna play that next for.
No, that's just the cold open.
Oh right,
that's just how the video starts.
Oh, never mind. Ignore that. I'm an idiot. But yeah, so here's my question for you. Do you think this guy should direct the Batgirl movie?
A theoretical Batgirl movie that doesn't exist yet?
Hey, it's no worse than...
You know what? Sure, because at least it would look nice.
It's no worse than David Ayer directing the Gotham City Sirens movie after already having ruined the Suicide Squad.
I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily ruined.
It was so
The script
awful.
was written in like 3 weeks.
The script was written in
shows.
3 weeks. The editing was cobbled together from 3 different cuts. The acting was
you go hit that
shaky, and then of course everything else was pretty terrible too.
I don't know. I came out of it just going, "Yep, it's another one of them middle of the road DC movies. They'll get it eventually." I sure hope Justice League is really good.
Well, this movie, nobody really paid attention to the Neon Demon. It fizzled out of theaters. Nobody really cared about it. It's now on Amazon, so that's where I watched it because it's an Amazon Studios release. So nobody really cared about it. So yeah, this guy's gonna direct the Batgirl movie, totally.
Yeah.
You know, I think the first thing I saw of Nicolas Winding Refn was a trailer on YouTube for My Life, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn, which is a trailer for a documentary that his wife made when they were shooting Only God Forgives together.
That's kind of narcissistic and weird.
I know, that's what I think about this guy.
Here's a documentary of how great it was and how cool
it's
while I was making this movie.
No. It's more about how the struggle it is to make a movie.
Well, yeah, fuck, dude. It's hard making movies.
So that's what I just thought about it. It's like, I have that bad negative reaction to that, like, whenever what was it, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu whined his way to an Oscar by saying, "It was so hard directing The Revenant, you guys."
Like, we only got to film it for like an hour a day because we wanted natural sunlighting.
And then was that director because of that? 2 years ago, actually.
Well,
he went for Birdman.
Leo finally didn't get stiffed.
You know, like for the movie that he least deserved an Oscar for.
He wasn't acting. He was just torturing himself for 2 hours. Like, he's a vegan. He just was eating like actual like animal liver and shit, and like throwing up all over himself, and then also like he starved himself a
He
little.
also slept inside there, like a deer or something.
Was it a real deer?
Like a deer, I think it was, but I'm not sure because I got
No point on that. But still, basically, Leonardo DiCaprio won an Oscar for like treating himself like self-mutilation, boring for like 2 hours, and then everyone's like, he's such an amazing actor. He's such a genius.
And then
he sacrificed so much for that.
That's
Shit, she got Jane on Chain.
my problem with
Bring
this.
herself.
It's just looking on an artist thing, but the irony is that is a story of lesbian necrophiliac cannibals.
The movie, it's not narcissism. Happens to be ironically kind of narcissistic. It's the guy like
It's a Roger Corman movie, except directed by an artist instead of a vegan. Like, I'll say this guy's an artist. He also has
he
French.
knows how to cannibal. How does his
Both of them. Like the director's like, they shot on this way, and then the TV actually does. Yeah. So I think he also has French. He also has French, visually stunning.
You know, he's directing someone else's really good script. Yeah, someone else really good script and
Only if he allows characters to know.
So yeah.
Otherwise, it would be slow.
It's a movie about robots just not looking at each other and then just staring endlessly at a character who doesn't want to be there. And having your conversations with characters going, man, I sure don't want to be here. You should watch.
But yeah, it's just, he was a very interesting movie because I don't really talk about any movie. I mean, there are of course Oscars and Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and of course Roger Ebert and all those guys will talk about these movies. But nobody else would.
Hey, what's up? Hey, well, how you doing? Yeah, what you up to? Oh, they do? They have chili cheese fries now? That's awesome. I bet they're spicy though, huh? Boy, you're gonna be sitting on fire for 3 days now. Yeah? Yeah? Cool. Alright, yeah, well, thanks. You know what? I'm gonna try that. This is going in a video, by the way. Alright, I love you, Dad. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, TJ Miller? What about him? I did not know that he was from Denver. Okay, that's cool. Alright. I have a thing going on, so I'll get back to you, alright? Okay. Yeah, it was good talking with you. Alright. Okay. See you later. Okay, back to the video. What were we talking about?
Well, the thing is, nobody really talks about.
Yeah,
indie
so Batman
movies.
versus Superman.
Nobody really talks about indie movies. It's like, of course, the Hollywood trades will talk about it, and of course, there will be a lot of.
Well, it's like there's like this stigma that all indie movies are awesome by virtue of being an indie movie. Like,
So
there's no flaw with them. Like,
Nobody in the fan community will really talk about them.
no one says like indie movies are just as bad as big Hollywood
Some
movies.
of them are, like this one. It was visually stunning, and there were a lot. And I must admit,
It's as hollow as a Michael Bay movie. There's a lot of cool. There's the screen looks awesome. There's explosions. There's robots. There's CGI. It all looks real neat.
I mean, in this case, it's not about the explosions and the CGI. It's about the visuals and the color palette. But it's still just as.
It's
hollow.
still just you're looking at a thing that's.
pretty to look at.
But then when it comes to an actual story, you're just going, yeah. And then they go to this room, and then they talk, and then they go to this room, and then they talk, and then they go to this room, and then they talk, and then they go outside.
And then, but the one
and talk.
Now, the one thing that was different is that with this movie, there's some shock value.
Yeah, you got to get out of here.
Because
place
of the
is
weird
exploding.
stuff that happened. So it was kind of like a weird psychological horror almost movie.
But there wasn't really a lot of horror. It was only like the last
more like
15 minutes.
looking at weird stuff. But the problem is that the camera is so conservative with looking at this stuff that you're not really ever disgusted with what you see. You're just like, yeah, I know what's on the screen. Show it to me. Show it to me. Show it to me.
I would like
show
to
it
see
me.
this incredibly scary imagery, but instead you just kind of get like just nothing. Like they don't. They're like the supposed climax of the film, where it's supposed to be at its creepiest, is where they chase her around with a knife, and then she gets
constantly at a medium shot, so you never see the emotion of what's happening. You're never like, oh no, is she gonna die?
But then,
first of all,
she
because
gets incapacitated, and then it doesn't show anything after that. It just shows the aftermath. It's basically the most interesting part about killing someone is the part where you kill someone.
And they didn't show that.
And they don't show that. If you're planning to murder someone, you don't... Well, one, if you're gonna have a character murder another character in the movie, don't have it come out of absolutely nowhere. Like this one, where... Yeah, she's a creepy character, but I didn't think she would be, like... cutting up and eating someone. I thought she was just like a lesbian. Unless all lesbians like to cut up and eat all other lesbians.
If you're a lesbian, let us know if that's the way it is.
If you're a lesbian that watches our videos, you're a pretty okay person.
Yeah, and just let us know, because...
want to use a gender word.
Yeah.
Gal? Lady? Unless... Can you be a lesbian but sexually identify as a man?
I don't know.
Does that make you just a straight man that's trans?
I don't know, okay?
Can I be a lesbian?
If you want to be.
Oh, sweet. I'm down.
I'm just telling you that to get you to shut up, okay?
I apologize to anyone we may have... No, I don't. I don't. Alright, so Neon Demon. If you want a movie that has a lot of cool visuals, but absolutely nothing else, and
also some...
is really uncomfortable and weird.
Weird, off-putting, and
There's
also...
a store right there.
Very interesting, very unique, but also kind of vacuous and empty at the same time.
Then
check it out.
Check it out.
See you next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Come on back!
Is this going to be a thing?
Maybe.
Are you going to say this every time?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, let me start a thing. I don't know. Bye. Bye.
Oh shit, I get to play now? Sweet.